Yes.
Welcome back to episode 21 of the Two Thinking Apes. Today we have Kimhour with us from Cambodia. So Kimhour is a leadership trainer at the Cambodian Childrens Fund, and the Cambodian Childrens Fund aims to transform the lives of the most impoverished, marginalized and neglected children in Cambodia through high quality education, leadership training and direct support programs. So thanks for having us, for coming on, Kimhour.
Hello, everyone.
Tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I am Kimhour. I'm a high school leadership trainer at Cambodian Childrens Fund. And I have been connected with B Leadership Institution with Brad White for over 3 years, working on the leadership training curriculum and youth development program in Cambodia, working directly with the impoverished community in Phnom Penh. Thank you.
Can I ask, how did you, for those that don't know, Brett White, someone we had on in a previous episode, introduced us to you, Kimhour. So how did you actually meet Brett White?
In the last couple of years, Brett White engaged with Cambodian Children's Fund as a leadership consultant. He observed the way that we run our leadership program for over 9 years, and then he connected with Mr. Scott Neeson, the founder of Cambodian Children's Fund, to offer the support to design a leadership training curriculum to develop youth spirit and youth leadership, to help them grow better in a perfect program of leadership training. And then we have the leadership camping, leadership event, and the community service programs that engage youth in their community development.
So did it change a lot after Brett White came and made the changes? Like, what was it before compared to now?
It's a big change. I can say it's a big change, because the leadership training program put into our organization, it is the first high school leadership training curriculum in Cambodia. Especially we offer to the impoverished children, which they have less opportunity, and they mostly don't know who they are. For example, we can ask 3 questions that all people always ask: who am I? Why am I here? And where do I fit in myself? Just like that. And he helped us to design a leadership training curriculum which offer about the identity. The young adults can learn about their identity, for example, their belief, their mindsets, their behavior, and later on they learn and develop about their purpose of life, why they are here in this universe. And in grade 10 and grade 11, Brad helped us to design a curriculum which is in compliance with the leadership skills and global youth leadership, especially related to how we can work with people from different culture, with people from different country. For example, how to engage with people from Australia, and how to engage with people from the West. And for the grade 12, he helped us to design an entrepreneurial leadership that help young people not just to stand as a leader, but help them to create their own business, to engage their business to help build a better world, just like this.
Yeah. Speaking of finding yourself, have you figured out why you're on this universe yet, or is that still a journey going on?
I'm on that journey. To be honest, I have found my passion, and I have found my strengths within that curriculum. I found that my purpose of life is to help others and to share my personal qualities that I have to encourage young generation to be better, think more, and to be an independent leaders.
I also read that you spent or you grew up in a Buddhist temple.
Yes.
Did that affect
Oh, wow.
the way you see life now? And did that teach you anything important that you relayed to the children and like boys and girls that you teach, or how did that affect what you do?
To be honest, I grew up in a Buddhist temple, and I lived there over 10 years, and I learned
Wow.
some Buddhist teaching. And later on, I compile it. Could be just like compile or contextualize all those lessons with the leadership trainings. And I learned some more related to the Christianity communities in Cambodia. I have a few friends. They are priests in Phnom Penh. And we learn about how to develop young people life, to help them understand the truth, to help them believe in themselves, to be more confident, and to engage them with the activities that help them think more and learn more about the real life. It is not just a theory.
Yeah. Can I ask, so how old were you when you were living in the Buddhist temple? Because that's like very interesting. I don't know anyone that grew up in a Buddhist temple. And what was that like?
I started living there as I remember, I think 14 years old.
So, and then you left at 24? 10.
Yes.
Okay. And then, so how did you kind of discover CCF, the Cambodian Childrens Fund? And because I read as well that you were, are you still studying?
I graduated 2 years ago.
Oh, congratulations. So were you there during uni? Like, how did you start working at CCF?
Oh, that's a big question. You know what? I start.
I'll repeat the question because of the internet. How did you start? How did you find Cambodian Childrens Fund? Like, how did you end up working there?
Oh, that was a big question. You know? For me, I treat it as a big question for me. Before 2017, I never knew that Cambodia has a big dump size, just like a dump size, a waste, a garbage mountain. I call it garbage mountain. One day, I watched a video of Scott Neeson's that on Facebook, and I saw that he established the CCF over 10 years, and I know nothing. And it was a huge transformative event for me, that I see and I ask myself, he's divide people and they come to help our community. He sacrificed everything in his life. He resigned from the Hollywood executive director and he came to help us. I asked myself, how can I help them? How can I join hand in hand with him to help these impoverished kids? I tried to reach out to them in 2016, as I remember. But in the Facebook page in the time, there is no one replied me. And I feel, how could I engage with CCF? Not too long, I think 2 or 3 months later, my professor at the university, she asked for volunteer to join CCF in that time. I was really quick reply, and oh, that's me. And I engaged with them, and I volunteer with CCF nearly 2 years to volunteer that, and then start off a official staff in 2018, as I remember, in the late of 2018, and start off with an English teacher, and later on get as a leadership trainer. That's a long story and a very beautiful story for me, that I can work with impoverished kids and to help the impoverished communities, to see them grow month to month, years to years.
When did you realize that this was your passion?
Thank you for question. I met Fred in 2019, and he helped me discover my life purpose. He has some tools to help me to find my passion, to find my life purpose. He asked me some question, for example, what do I value the most in my life? And what do I love? Just like those questions remains in my mind. And I found out that my life would be great if I can help other people, especially some people who has less chance, and some people that they struggle to be better, but they lack of opportunity, they lack of someone mentor them or guide them the ways.
Can I ask, you said there was a massive like garbage tower mountain. What is that in Phnom Penh? Is that how you pronounce the capital? Like, where's that, and
yes,
how big are we talking? And do people live there?
There are over I think over 20,000 family living around these dump sites. And now after the development of authority and Cambodian Childrens Fund join hands in hand, now it reduce the side effects of the dump sites, and they change the dump sites to put in the suburbs.
So is that, like, how big are we talking for this garbage dump? Is it just like the tip where all the rubbish is dumped?
I think around 10 hectares.
Wow. And 20,000 people live there, around
yes.
there. Wow.
Yes.
And are they, aside from the work CCF does, do they go to school and things like that?
Before CCF established, most of them don't have any chance to go to school. 90% of kids living on that garbage mountains to find just 50 cents to survive every day. And they eat some foods that left from other people that they put in the garbage mountain. You can find the further information in the CCF websites or the Scott stories. One of our graduate students, her name is Ronsopi. Now she is in Melbourne. She's studying in Melbourne University to pursue her bachelor degree there. She was the one who eats that experience those moments in her life, and it's big. It's
Yeah.
just like
We can't even relate to that, Costin and I, especially like, yeah, I don't know. It's shocking.
Is the government doing enough in Cambodia to try make for better living conditions, or are they not really trying, which is where you guys come in? But are you feeling that the burden's getting to a point where it's going to become too much for you guys if there's no help from authorities, or are authorities starting to try help?
I personally say that they try to help us, but one thing that still remains the existence problems, just like the mindset development of people in developing country, just like Cambodia. We suffered a civil war over 30 years in our history, from 1970s to 1990s, before we get into the peace. And people was about to brainwash in that time, to kill each other just for survive in a communist ways of Pol Pot. You know the Pol Pot regimes in Cambodia from 1975 to 1978 or 1979. In that time, people tried to kill each other, and they were brainwashed by the regime in that time. For me, I think that moment is just the ridiculous history part of Cambodia. And later on, we try to develop from zero to now. And the government tried their best from time to time.
So do you think,
but still need more?
do you think that that way of thinking during that time like carries through to now? Is that what you mean by the mindset education? Like, what is that way of thinking?
Like just survival of the fittest, each man or woman for themselves type thinking?
I couldn't hear you well. Could you repeat it again, please?
Yeah, I was saying, what type of thinking was developed like under the Pol Pot to lead? What is that you're saying?
The mindset that left from the Pol Pot regimes is that I can say three big words in Cambodia. The first one is empathy. We really need empathy in here. People don't trust each other. They don't want to help each other. Just want to be win and to be a taker, not a giver.
Yeah, so the mindset's all about looking out for yourself and yourself only, pretty much.
Yeah, yes. And the second word is positivity. People try to think negative and want to earn more than give. Just like they want to get respect, but they don't try to be a role model of giving respect to each other. Just like this. And the third important word is gratitude. We lost a big sense of gratitude during Pol Pot regimes. Just people can kill their parents during that time just to follow the regime, the scenario of the political scenario in that time, just like that. And later on, we need the trust, we need the respect to each other. That three words is a big part that I, as a leadership trainer, have to build with people, especially the young adults in high school.
Well, that's how the change is going to happen, by educating the young, so when they become old and leave the country, then that can all slowly change.
Pardon?
I was saying, well, that's the way to do it, teaching the young people all about that stuff, so when they're older and running the country they can implement it, and then hopefully it'll change for the better.
Yes.
So the Khmer Rouge ended in the 90s, is that right?
In 1970s.
Oh, 70s, yeah. Okay, that still wasn't
Yes.
that long ago comparatively. There's that, I don't know, we don't learn much about it, I think, here. But if you think about it, like, I feel like our history is, we learn a lot about Russia and all those aspects, but we don't really learn that much about what happened in Cambodia. So it's interesting you say that the effects are still lasting to today, and that way of that mindset thinking. Would you say that the mindset is the most lasting negative impact? Has everything else kind of healed, would you say?
Yes. For me, I think mindset matter for every people, not only in Cambodia, but all people throughout the world. If they don't change their mindsets, they still be the same. If you put the old man in a new car and you put on the new clothes with an old man, it still be the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still an old man.
Well, in terms of touching on what you do with the Cambodian Children's Fund, is it what's your actual day-to-day work like? Are you working workshops in terms of leadership training, and is it just school children? Is that the main goal, high school?
The high school student from grade 7 to grade 12, and we have another program for our university students that under taking care, just under support of CCF. We offer them a entrepreneurial leadership trainings to them to help them find out the business they want and run their own business, to create some small business.
And how many people roughly are a part of the program in terms of school students? Like, is it only based in Phnom Penh as well?
Yes, it's only based in Phnom Penh, correct?
Yeah, okay.
And we have over 700 beneficiaries.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Is there any plans to expand to the wider communities of Cambodia? Because would the communities that are more rural than in the main cities be more affected by all the stuff that people in the main cities are affected by?
I'm not sure whether they would expand the program to across the country or not. But the vision of CCF is transforming the country's most impoverished kids into tomorrow leaders. Our beneficiary here currently is impoverished children that we get them from the abused community, or they grew up in an impoverished areas, to help them to get them inside CCF. We support them to gain a good education, that really professional education here, and that develop a holistic curriculum around their academic and leadership development here. We don't have any other supports to the general level or general groups.
Can I ask, so CCF aims for school children. So how does it actually work? Do you guys have your own buildings where people come to and you provide leadership like on the weekends or after school, or is it in cooperation with schools at the schools? Like, how does the actual structure work in that sense to like kick it off the ground?
Yes, currently CCF have 8 school premise for their own school premise. We have kindergarten and primary to secondary and high school here. We have one official buildings that collaborate with public ministry, just like Ministry of Education, Youth and Sport in Cambodia. we call the Nissan Cripps Academy, which is the first most modern school building in Southeast Asia for I think for for the impoverished children in here. Perhaps it still remains the most modern educational building for impoverished children here nowadays.
Wow.
We have STEM club, and we have STEM building here. We have the garden roof that we teach our students to be green, and and we have 6 programs that work to develop the children, just like childcare team, childcare program, health program. We have education program, leadership program, community outreach, all of those kind of things.
So are these run during school hours, or are they run on the weekend or in spare time?
Again, I would like to share about the leadership program in Cambodian Childrens Fund. We have four main services that we provide to children. The first one is leadership training program. We offer in a school schedule, just like to engage in school schedule. We have I think we have a perfect curriculum in leadership development. That we have assessment, we have assessment, we have the training methodology or something like that. And the second main service is we call community service development. We engage our children to develop their community, just like in evening food program, to engage young adults to help teaching and facilitate for the small kids to get foods in the evening food program. And we have community voluntary, just like community voluntary work. Young adults go into the community and teach young kids about whether mathematics or whether numeracy and literacy, just like this. And we have many other small projects related to our community development service in here. And the third main important program for leadership is leadership camping. We have 2 leadership camps in here. One we call mini camp and big camp. Mini camp are students from grade 6 to grade 8 who are 11 years old to 13 years old. They can join the mini camp for 1 night, 2 days at somewhere nearby Phnom Penh, to learn about their just like self-development, to find themselves, to develop their communication skill, to develop their independent skill. For my experience, I never leave my family before 10 years old or just like before 13 years old. And I know how's that feel. Just like we living far away from our family, we feel missing our parents. We don't very independent in that time. So we can help them to learn all those kind of stuff. And the last program is the leadership events. We engage our youth in leadership event, whether both locally and internationally. We engage our youth with Tony Robbins team at Global Youth Leadership Summit at California. And we have young leaders program that we engage our youth to learn and to learn and grow in a Trinity College program. And we have engaged our youth to Hong Kong with the leadership program there. And we also engage our youth in a leadership program, leadership event in Cambodia for many events. And we also have some events that our youth organize themselves inside CCF annually.
So is, because you're a part of the leadership program, do you do all those things, or are you specialist in one of those things? Because you said a lot of things.
Yes. I am a specialist in leadership training. I am one of the leadership trainer in CCF, and I also engage in leadership campaign planning, and just like a leadership campaign committee. I also be one of the advisors in the leadership event that the student engage in the leadership event, all those kind of things.
This might be a silly, like not a silly question, but it's
No silly question.
No, it's not a silly question. But all right, do you feel that what you're doing is working, and how do you measure that it is working?
Great question.
Yes, great question. We have the strategic plan. We have strategic plan. We work for 5 years strategic plan, and we also try to chuck it into the operational plan, annual operational plan, and we try to minimize it to the term plan, just like one term plan, and later on we try to assess in every years of our result, that whether we met whether we meet our expectation or not. And to be honest, for myself, I still need more support from professional or expertise around leadership development assessment, and especially the community leadership development assessment. We still need the M&E, monitoring and evaluation, that we need those professionals.
Is it all through donations, or are there private funders as well, or is it mainly donations that you guys rely on to keep running?
We depend on donation because we are a non-governmental organization.
Is there what can other people do to help? Like, obviously there's donating money, spreading awareness. Is there anything else that people can do to help? Is there somewhere you can send resources or similar things like that? Or like, what can we do on the other side of the world? Not the other side of the world, but in Australia.
Great question. we welcome everything from whether internationally or locally. Whether you have the support as a donation, or support as the money, or you have time to volunteer with us in any part of your professional, and any stuff that you don't use or you want to donate to us, we welcome. It's really, really warmly welcome.
Can I ask, has COVID impacted your operations in any way?
Yes, it's big. It's big. You know what? When the COVID hits Phnom Penh, we got locked down, and our community is an impoverished community. Most people, they don't have smartphone, they don't have laptop or anything else to connect. And our students got panic in the time. They don't know where to go and how to do it to gain to pursue their education. Immediately in the time, Scott tried to raise some funds to buy laptops and tablets to support our community. They hand to the students who are obviously under our support 1 or 2 tablet or laptops in one family. They have numbers of family here, and they can. Some of them they came to school to pick up a hard copy to learn at their house, and we engage our youth in the leadership program. Our youth try to volunteer in their community. In CCF, we have the World Housing Community here. There are around 50 to 60 families in one World Housing Community. That is a very good advantages for us to have our children, to have our community. Our youth in those World Housing Community step out to volunteer to help young kids, to help young adults in their community by teaching what they learn to kids, to young children. For example, they step out to volunteer to teach numeracy and literacy to children. They volunteer to spread out awareness of COVID to the community, and they volunteer to help create some events inside the community to help their just like the community people.
Sounds good. I think that's a pretty good spot to wrap it up, I'd say.
Perfect.
Unless you have anything more to add, Taylor?
Me? No. Perfect. Thank you for the time.
We appreciate your time really much. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for giving us info. And shout out to Brett White.
Yeah, shout out to Brett White.
Thank you, Kimhour. Thank you for finding the time in Cambodia.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. And I apologize if there is some words that is harsh or there is some word is impolite.
It was perfect.
It seems like,
mate, your English
to be honest,
bang on.
It's about the language barrier here.
No, thank you, Kimhour.
Thank you very much.
Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye, Kimhour. Thank you. Bye.